Hello and welcome back. We're going to continue to work on our Inkscape cake project. So the first thing I need to do is open that project up. So I'm going to go down here to my search bar and I'm going to type in Inkscape. It's going to pop up and we're going to wait for the program to open. Once it opens, it does give you this nice little pop-up window where you can select your file that you're currently working on and then hit load. So I'm going to open up my cake project. And let's see, it brings it over there. So let me pull it onto this window. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to pull this out of the way. Like I said before, I'm working over here on the workspace. I'll move this over onto my composition when I'm ready. I have my cake plate portion here already drawn. And as I look at my cake pieces, or my plate pieces, I'll just put them over here right now. Behind that would probably be this shadow portion. So I think I'm going to start with that shadow portion today. And so I'm going to go over here to click on my Bezier pen tool. And again, I've got some curves. So I'm going to just start here and kind of draw to those intersections. Remember, I'm roughing this in and I'm putting in as few lines as possible. If I hold the control key, it does create straight lines. So I'm going to hold the control key right now over here on this right side. That will be the edge of my canvas. And let's see, I'll put a node there and a node here and probably take it back to my beginning. And I'm going to double click once I get it back in there so that those two connect. All right, after I have my roughed shape done, I'm going to go and grab the second tool here, which is your Edit Paths by Nodes. And I'm just going to grab my path lines and kind of pull them in and adjust to make this now actually fit the shape a little bit better. If I need to zoom in, I'll use my magnifying glass down here at the bottom. I can use my spacebar key on my keyboard to move, but I can actually move these nodes and then also grab the line and start to pull that line and create more of what I want. Okay, and get it pretty close. If you still have an issue like here, this is not curving enough, I'm going to grab this handle and I'm actually going to drag the handle that's attached to that node. Then I can also grab the line and take it back. So I can continue to just adjust these lines and make it work. Okay, so I think that's a pretty good shadow shape. So I'm going to now fill it. So I'm going to go to my fill over here on the right side. And I want to fill it with the exact color that Wayne Thiebaud used. So I'm going to move it out of the way for right now. It's like this light blue gray. So with that selected, I'm going to come over here to my picker color eyedropper and I'll pick up that blue. Now when you do, it's going to pick up the fact that that image is transparent. So I'm going to also come over here to the opacity. Oh, I'm going to have to adjust. Let's see. Well, it might be okay. Let me try it again. Oh, I'm going to use, I remember I have my reference picture, so I can use this and I will use my eyedropper over there. And now I'm getting them closer to what Thiebaud was painting with. It needs to be a little more gray, I think. Let's try to pinpoint a gray area. Click on my shape, click on my eyedropper, and I think that's a little bit more gray. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and zoom out now that I have that piece. And I'll put this over here to start to kind of lay out this composition. And now I'm going to run into a problem, right? Like this is now on top of what I need to do there. And so I want this shadow to go underneath my design. So I'm going to click on this shape. I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to go down to slide my thing out of the way. right click on it, and I'm going to go down to how do I move layers and objects? And over here, I'm going to move that layer down. And it shows me that's the top of the cake plate, that's the base of the cake plate. So I want to move this one below. There we go. I have to use the arrows up at the top. And now it is lower and beneath those images. Okay, so I hope that looks pretty good. And again, I'm not too worried about size right now. I'm just trying to get the different parts of this drawn over here into this finished area. So now I'm going to pick the next part of my project and I'm going to keep drawing. And that's pretty much your whole day today, is just start picking out details of your drawing. Zoom in, work your way around, and start drawing your composition. So I'm going to do the side of the cake next here. So I'll grab my Bezier pen tool. And again, I'm hitting those intersections where there's going to be a transition. I think I'm going to come all the way across for that part. And double click to end it. And then I'll edit the shape. There's something funky happening here that I'll have to address. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And I'm going to click on that handle and I'm going to say, okay, you're way too curved up. I'm going to bring you down and I can bring it closer to the node. And I think I'm going to bring the node out a little bit more. And just make sure you're just adjusting until you're happy. Whoops. Click on it again. I think that looks better. So I will zoom out. Now you're saying, well, okay, now you have the shape, but like there's a lot of details there that what color are you going to possibly fill that shape with? So I'm going to come back over here to my fill and stroke. I can see I have layers and objects now that I opened that up, and I have fill and stroke. So I'm going to go to my fill and I'm going to click on my eyedropper and I'm going to pick a color for right now. I'm going to go with that color. That's that yellow side of the cake. And that's going to be the first piece of my cake. I'll grab my move tool and move that over onto my platter. And I'm going to start to continue to build all of these shapes. So node tool, and I think I'll do the top of the cake now. Grab my Bezier pen. This part is going to overlap. Remember, you want to use as few nodes as possible. That roughed in shape. Then I'll get my editing tool, and you're going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep drawing. I will adjust the speed of this portion of the video, and you can watch how I edit and change my shape. With that shape, I didn't really want it to be perfect as the other one, so I added a lot of nodes. So if we click on that, you can see there's a lot of different spaces, but I wanted that to have that funky textural kind of edge. So I created those two out of order, so I'm going to grab that blue layer of the cake and bring it forward. So on my layer, I'm going to use my keys on my keyboard to help with positioning a little bit. And I duplicated those shapes just to save some time. So I realized after I zoomed in here quite a ways, right, that there's a slight issue. Don't do that, edit, undo. Um, and I have a couple extra nodes that I don't need. So I want to delete those. Click, there we go. And I want to get this one to match up. Much happier with that. And I need to change this one to either match that one so that they're all coming together at the right places. All right, lovely. And I know that it's a little wonky, like my edges are not perfectly even and straight, and we could adjust that, but when we look at our inspiration, Thibaut's cake, it's a lot of freedom in those edges. And so I kind of like the wonkiness of it. So I'm keeping it. And I probably should draw each one of these layers separately for that idea of the wonkiness. Um, but I am trying to save some time. And I can look at this and say I'm going to have another section of cake here. So to make it match a little bit more, I'm going to draw on my actual cake. So if you feel comfortable doing that, you can do that as well. I'm going to hold that Alt button, which will make my line straight. I'm sorry, not Alt, Control. Smooth that layer. And I have a slight issue I see there on this, and I think this is where I'm going to stop for today. I made really good progress, and I know you're not going to finish in one additional drawing day, so make some really good progress and be done for the day. Okay, liking the way that looks. I'm happy with that. So at this point, I'm going to zoom out. I'm going to take a look at what I have today in reference to my two reference images, and I'm going to take my screenshot. Okay, make sure when you do get your screenshot that you are getting your entire window so that you have all of that. I'll open this up. And then I'm going to go ahead and save this screenshot for my project. So this is going to be 10.06 screenshot. And I'll hit save. And then I will return back to my program and go file save. I need to make sure that I am saving this program, saving this file, because it is not going to auto save for you. So just make sure that you are saving daily as you operate this program. If you have any concerns or questions, please reach out and let me know.